All right, guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Joey Utah Perspective. Today, I have a very special guest with me. His name is Jay Andrews, and we connected about a year ago, right, on LinkedIn, give or take?
Sounds about right, yep.
Sounds right. Jay is probably one of the most inspirational people I've come across on the internet, and I thought, what better opportunity than to let him come on the Joey Utah Perspective and share some of his story and his beautiful insight on the world with you guys. So without further ado, here is Jay Andrews.
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm more than grateful for this opportunity to sit back and relax and, as they say, shoot the shit and hear you all. Anyone who's watching or is listening and not watching or holding up mugs, it's a big thing for me to always have a mug of coffee on the go. So
cheers to you, Jay. Yeah, so Jay does a lot of the reason that we met was Jay started doing a lot of videos last year. What'd you do, 100? I know you had a
LinkedIn video. It was actually, I was doing a lot of posts with just image.
Mm-hmm.
And then a gentleman by the name of Brian Schulman, I came across his work and kind of was the kick in the ass, so to speak, to actually put something on video. And next thing you know, it's like 120 some videos later. I don't even know how it happened. It just kind of did. I guess that's how it happened. Just kind of point, shoot, and go. I didn't fluff it. I didn't take 4 or 5 takes or whatever. It's just, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Perfectly stated. So Jay, he does a lot of great videos. They're like a minute or 2 minutes long. So if you're on LinkedIn, you have to follow him to get your daily inspiration in. And we have a little running side joke that we like to constantly talk about. Jay, as you mentioned, he's always holding a coffee mug up. And, you know, he kind of got my attention because I always see his videos. And sometimes I have time to watch them and sometimes I just don't, just because I'm doing different things. But recently he's been holding up this coffee mug with Superman on it. And as most of you guys know, I'm a huge Superman fan. And, you know, I do feel like, you know, you were led into my life for a reason, Jay. You've helped me immensely, you know, deal with a lot of different things. So we were talking about a few things before the podcast about how important it is that people understand why they do things. You know, we both are kind of on the same page in that we believe everything happens for a reason, the good, the bad, and especially the ugly. And I think you're one of the best voices on LinkedIn as far as capturing that essence of, you know, how to truly express yourself and how to be honest with yourself in good times and in bad. And I was wondering if you want to share a little bit of your why with the audience and why you love, you know, spreading your positive cheer all over social media and also in your day-to-day life.
Thank you. Very kind words. So my why is actually, I find it very straight to the point and simple. It is to affect positive change, one person. And whether it's a person I'm coaching, whether it's somebody that I meet on the street, whether it's one of my 4 boys, who knows who it could be my life partner. It's having that one positive, influential effect that they turn around and is a game changer for them. Something was inside of them all of a sudden changes. And it's this positivity of energy within them and how they talk to people, how they hold themselves, whether in a physical stature, how they walk, how they present themselves, all these things. And if they turn around and do the same thing to someone else, and then the momentum starts like that. And it actually is on the heels of what my company is called ripple effect. So you start with one, and then you work, and then all of a sudden it starts. And I was saying to you earlier, It starts with one, right? So that one is that drop of water that hits, and that first ripple in the water is really intense. You can see the ring.
Yep.
And as the ripple goes and goes and goes, the ring is lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter as it goes. But you know what? By the time it reaches, now we're talking individuals, gets to that 100th person,
Mm-hmm.
they may not remember, or they will not know who that first person was, but the message or the essence of what that positive vibe or that energy that was going there is still there at number 100.
Wow.
The ripple effect. This is my why. This is how I present myself to this immense and gorgeous planet of ours. And whether it's via social media or or everyday life, this is want to at least affect change in one person a day.
Yeah, man, I love that. I think that's something that definitely drew me to you and to your videos the most was just start with one. And for those of you guys who are listening, um, if you're in a bad place in your life right now, you're facing some kind of adversity, just go out and try to affect one person in a positive way. Whether it's there are all different ways to do it. Me and Jay talk about. Jay has this technique where he sends some of the people he coaches out and he has them thank random people. Am I understanding that correctly,
Yeah,
Jay?
yeah. It's like, everyone's pay it forward or do these things. It's like an act of kindness costs nothing.
Yeah.
It costs nothing. And you know what? If you think your ego is that big that you can't do something like that, the expression "go check your ego at the door." Seriously, go check it at the door, because no one on this planet is that important that you cannot walk over and tell another human being a simple thank you. There's no one on this planet is that important that can't do that and be genuine and authentic when you're saying it as well. It's not just going through the motions, but
Yeah.
actually you know, being you, who
Being
you is.
sincere.
And the you is your heart, and the you is your mind upstairs too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The heart and the mind are both connected. And you talk about nobody should be bigger than themselves where they can't go up to one person. We all listen, I get it. We have all got a lot of things to do. We've all got, different jobs we're worried about getting and different relationships we're trying to get into. But even with all that and myself, I got to take some accountability myself because there's times where I forget that, that need to give back. And I forget that, I'm one of those people who, when I start getting overwhelmed with things, I get really overwhelmed. I've got a million things. And in that, I kind of lose a sense of myself at times. And I forget that, I have to remind myself, Joe, go out and just try to make somebody happy, and be sincere about it. Do it for the right reasons. Like you said, it's got to be genuine. If you're trying to make somebody laugh or tell a bad joke or something,
Yeah.
I'd probably advise against that. But just, go out there and find somebody you can make eye contact with and you can engage one-on-one and be mindful with and give them, whether it's a compliment you have to give them or your full attention, or you have to listen to a story, anything you can do for somebody. And, what you'll see is that person will probably feel better about themselves. And when you do that, when you see that, you'll feel better about yourself because you feel like, you'll have filled your own need for contribution. And if you do that just enough and you start doing it over and over again, you're going to create momentum in your life. And here's the other thing, we talk about paying it forward. Something I believe too, if you're somebody who doesn't believe that anything good ever happens to you, start doing things like this. Start doing little, small, simple acts of kindness. And I promise you, people around you will start wanting to do things for you. They'll start wanting to, I'm not necessarily saying they're going to want to pay you a bunch of money or they're going to want to, shower you with gifts, but they'll start wanting to do little favors for you, if that makes sense. And in doing that, you'll start to create your own little tribe, whether it's on social media, whether you're linking up with guys like Jay and myself on LinkedIn, and you're kind of creating this little social circle. Or again, if it's in your everyday daily life, and it could be something as a lot of you guys know, as my side hustle, I'm a waiter at a restaurant. And sometimes I go into the restaurant and I'm not looking forward to it. But I always remind myself again, Joe, whose life can I positively impact today? What guest am I going to have sit down at my booth or my table who I can either smile at or have some good conversation with and make that person feel good about themselves? And then again, guys, when you're helping others feel good, it's just natural. You're going to feel good about yourself.
I think I think really importantly is that I always say that everyone has superpowers, right? And sometimes anyone who reads comics or any of these other things going out there, sometimes these heroes don't even realize what they have until it just comes out, right?
Yeah.
But didn't change who they were. That was always within them.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we could be in the matrix and just doing the motions, and you're just doing these things, and you wake up, right? You take the right pill and you wake up and you see what it is, and you realize, or it triggers these powers that are within you that have always been there. They've just been dormant or asleep. And we were talking earlier, it's like that muscle that's not being flexed or being used. It's always been there. It's just not, hasn't been awakened or being used correctly. And I think you exude positive energy, you exude positivity. Look, you can't be positive 24/7 because there will be things that will give you a setback, but you can't let those setbacks be the reason that you can't be positive. Yes. I mean, people don't get up every single day to be an ass. They don't. People like, oh, I went into Starbucks and they messed up my drink, so now I'm pissed at the world. I'm going to go yell at somebody. You know what? That person's not a jerk. He or she did not go in there to rip a barista a new one, and they take it personally, like, well, that person's a jackass and blah blah blah. You know what? No one wakes up pissed off. No one gets up and is just angry. There are other things behind or underneath of what's happening, and this is where it's like having compassion and understanding and knowing that where you can turn around and say to someone, it's all right, or thank you for whatever, or smiling at them and say, you know what? Coffee's on me, don't worry about it. And they're like, what? And I don't worry about it. It's okay. You know what? Like if I can give you this coffee that will slightly turn your day around because you're having such a bad day, then I'm cool with that. I'm all right absorbing 225. I'm okay with that. Well, I guess if you're at Starbucks, I'm okay with absorbing $7.60. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, because then this person just realizes that I'm showing myself to the world in a negative light, and that's not who I am. And in this small gesture of kindness, you can actually flip their day around. It's huge. It's like, it's just, and if you walk through life and you feel like the world is out to get you, or you always use something and all these things, you're going to attract a vibe or a tribe or that feel that same way, and you will be stagnant.
Yes.
You'll not get to that next level. Your superpowers will be quiet. The volume of your speakers are going to be, as we talked about earlier, like Spinal Tap 15. It's going to be so loud, you're never going to hear anything. But if you change the concept, or you change the way and how you do things, that volume can get to 2 and 3. You can hear that inner voice. Your mind and your heart will be more aligned, and you're going to start seeing things, and things will be coming to you.
Yes.
That were always there, but you had the music so goddamn loud, you couldn't hear anything, right?
Yes. A lot of great insight right there, Jay. First of all, great analogy with The Matrix. It's one of my favorite movies, and I think there's a lot of truth to what you said, in that so many people are just walking around, kind of acting a certain way for whatever reasons they are, whether they're yelling at people all constantly or they're deflecting blame. It's for a reason, and I'm on the same page with you in that I truly believe everybody's got the capacity to do good and to be a good person and, all that sappy stuff. But
Yeah.
I think too many people get caught up in the rat race and in what you said, all that noise around them. There's so many different distractions in the world with social media, with technology, with, we live in a society where everybody wants that instant gratification. Everybody wants to feel good now. And part of feeling good right now is deflecting the stuff that bothers us,
Right.
and making excuses for things, around us, or just, sweeping it under the rug, so to speak.
Well, just
Uh,
remember, you keep sweeping that under the rug, that rug's not going to be flat anymore, and you're going to trip over that bump that you've been sweeping under the rug.
you are the king of analogies, man. Did you just make that up?
I did.
That was excellent.
Yeah, sorry. We talked off air prior to going. I swear to you, I'll be in my 60s and I'll be talking analogies all the time, and apparently I do it without even realize I do it. So, anyways.
Never change, Jay. I love it. I love it. I'm like that with old 90s movie quotes. I'll just
Right.
have a conversation the whole time and it'll just be movie quotes. But staying on topic,
Yeah.
I think something that's really important, I want to get your insight on this, and we talked about it before, is the ability to be self-aware, because the truth is I was one of those guys who was walking around deflecting
Right.
for 28 years of my life, until I was awoken, so to speak.
Yeah.
What do you think is what's the best advice you would give to anybody listening who might be trapped, in that part of the matrix where they're just kind of, they're just more or less a cog in the machine. They're not really living their best life, and
I,
because of that, they're not helping others as much.
I think, well, there's a few things. I think the first and foremost is that stop making excuses. If you can stop making excuses, you're almost, imagine yourself, we're at a 100-meter sprint and everybody says it's timing, and some guys and women, gun goes off and boom, they're out of the blocks, but it false start, right? If you can stop making excuses, it's like a runner who actually, when it goes boom, the gun goes off, they timed it perfectly. And they may not be the fastest runner, but because they had that jump, they're actually out of the gates first. Now, will they win the race? Maybe not, because there's stronger people in the lineup. But they don't have the excuse or the excuses for something. And once you've gotten rid of that off your back, you have to be kind to yourself as well. Because if you're saying, I can't get rid of the excuses because, and then you turn on yourself and you're hard on yourself and whatever. And I'm guilty of that. I can be hard on myself.
Yeah.
And this is where I, as an individual, I grow. And I believe coaches need coaches, and I am blessed and very fortunate that my life partner is one of the greatest coaches out there, and she works with women. Her name is Louise H. Reed, and she is this empowerment coach for women. And what she does with these women is boom, mind blowing. It's unbelievable. And here I am. I live with this woman every day, and I have the opportunity to learn from her, and she helps me and encourages me and coaches me. And there are days I don't want to be coached,
Yep.
if you take a step back and you look at it, people are working with you because they genuinely care about you, and they want to do right by you and for you. So if there's someone out there who's listening right now who's like, I've got all the answers, or I don't want somebody to tell me what to do, or blah, 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 how's that working for you?
Yep.
Because I'm telling you right now, probably not the greatest. And even if you think you're making, I've done this in my career, I've done this in my relationship, it's moving. Yeah, it's moving, but it could be moving at either a quicker pace or a better pace, and you're not hitting all those potholes, and you're not hitting the speed bumps. I mean, when someone comes into your life for a reason, there is a reason. And if they're offering to help you, you know, what's the expression? Don't, whatever, gift horse in the mouth or something, whatever it is. Like, you know,
Is
like,
it don't walk the horse to the, you can walk a horse to the water, but you can't make it
can't
drink.
teach you how to drink or whatever. But what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is if someone's offering you something, don't be so flippant, egotistical
Yeah.
that you think you can't, you know, take it.
Yes.
Because you know what? If you want to wake up out of the matrix, you know how you wake up? You grow. And your brain will always tell you you're fine the way you are. It will tell you don't do this because of you could get hurt or you could do this or whatever. Scientifically, the brain is here to protect us, right?
Yeah.
And you'll hear people saying fear keeps you away from doing something, you know, and yes, fear is big and it is real. But this is where if you say to yourself is like, you know what, I got this. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. And yes, it's going to feel awkward. But if you do all those things, you're going to achieve the next level. And tell that brain to shh, quiet. And you know how you do it? Mel Robbins wrote a book called The 5-Second Rule. And you can tell your brain to do something before it tells you not to do something in the first 5 seconds. So Mel went on in this book, essentially, and for anyone who's listening who has never read the book, essentially it works like this. We all been there. We're laying in bed, and you're like, oh my God. And you hit the snooze, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
That was me this morning.
you hit the snooze 6 times.
Yeah.
What is it that's stopping you from getting out of bed? What is so horrific that your brain is telling you, Joey, don't go out there. Don't do that. Jay, stay in bed.
Yeah.
No. So what Mel is in her book, essentially how it starts off with, is be that rocket. She saw a commercial on TV, and you saw this rocket just blast up, and it was the countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, like a rocket. She was, jumped out. She did that in the mornings. The alarm goes off, you're out. You're up, you're ready to go. Because once you're up and moving, you know how difficult it is to get back into bed, get the sheets over, get your head comfy in the pillow again. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But once you're up and moving, well, that wasn't so hard. It just, anyways.
I think, everything you say is spot on, man. And it all, what it all culminates for someone like me who's listening and who's getting a lot of great insight from myself is it's all ourself, guys. You all have a choice. I have a choice to hit that snooze button or to just get my ass up. And I think something that helps with getting that push up is also having a plan, is having something to look forward to get up to. So if you're living the life you don't want to be living right now, or you're going to you're waking up to go to a shitty job, or to do something you don't want to do, or to go to school or whatever it is, find the good in it, whatever it is you're doing. Find the growth, even more importantly, and even if you are doing something you don't enjoy, make time for yourself, make time to find something that you do enjoy. But something I did want to ask you, Jay, with that is, you personally, is there something you have to tell yourself in the morning? Do you actually use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing to do that sometimes? To blow it out of bed?
I have used it. I think for me is that, and I think it goes back to my story, and I'll touch on that in a second, is that, I think sometimes you really don't appreciate anything until, the analogy, don't appreciate anything until it's gone.
Yes.
And I think that if you look at your life and what you have, you may not have the perfect job. You may not be in the perfect relationship. You may not have the perfect family. You may not have the perfect house, the car, whatever it is. But you know what you do have? You have you. And there is only one you. But you can't just go out and duplicate yourself. That doesn't work. It's not like the 90s where that movie where the guy made 100 of himself or whatever, wanted to go to work wanted to take care of the kids, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
you just multiplicity, whatever.
Multiplicity.
Yeah,
Good
it's
movie.
like you just can't, that doesn't exist. You are so unique and so like. Do you know the gift that you are? When you get up in the morning, it's like I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, look at me. Like it was so funny. I went to Louise and I went to a Tony Robbins thing, and I'm not going to get in. Some people are pro Tony, some people aren't, and I'm not here to discuss that with you on today's show. I'm just saying I went there, and there was these other special guests that were part of this Tony Robbins convention type thing, and she came out and she said, "Wouldn't it be great if we acted like a child and walked in to like a grocery store or whatever, and it's just like, I'm back. Like, look at me, here I am, woo, and all this stuff." Because kids do it and we think it's kind of cute, whatever, we give a giggle, but if we as a parent or an adult do something like that, we think the person's crazy. But that's the thing, you get up every morning and you're back. Like, you live to see another day. And how great is that? Like, if you did something that was maybe not the way you like it, like you said earlier, we have a choice. We have the capability of changing things. It's not like it's Groundhog Day and everything is the same. And he's like, oh, crap, here we got to go run through the mill again. You have the opportunity to change things. And for me, getting up every morning, it's like I have another opportunity to be alive, to make a change in the world, to change one person, to grow as an individual, and to just take on what the day is going to be, whatever it is, whether it's going to be all positive and everything is great and I'm go out and buy a lotto ticket because everything's so awesome,
Yeah.
or it's adversity and it's crap and it's shit and it's like, oh my God, I like throw in the towel, please, somebody, because I'm getting the shit beat out of me in the ring right now. And it's what you do in those moments is like put it in perspective. All right, it is a gift that we're here. Enjoy this gift, because anytime we receive a gift, isn't it wonderful when you receive something?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You are a living, breathing gift. How great is that? And for me, everything changed in 2011. Like, I was walking through the matrix. I was just randomly doing things in my life and thought I was doing the right thing. The career, I have the, a family. And I just kind of, did whatever. And then I'm in my 30s, fit, have all these great things going on. And then I get really sick. And I don't understand why I'm sick. And I asked my parents, like, I don't ever recall being sick. My parents were like, no, you were always a healthy kid. And I was really, really sick and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Finally, after months, the doctors are like, call me up, come on in, Mr. Andrews, we need to see you. So I come in and like, we figured it out. And they tell me I have a blood disorder that there is no cure for, and that is going to shorten my life expectancy. It's called hemochromatosis. And 5% of the entire planet has this disease that has both chromosomes. So if you have, like, sorry, let me backtrack. 5% of the population has both chromosomes, which there is no cure for. Now, the rest of the population is walking around with one of those chromosomes. Mm-hmm. So lucky me, I've got both. So here I am in my 30s being told that I won't see 70 or 75. Definitely not 75. I'm like, and then as they're walking me through it, they're like, here's a brochure, and sent me on my way. And I was just like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in my car with my head in the dash and I was crying. I was like, what the hell just happened to me? And so here I'm trying to wrap my head around everything that's going on. And then all of a sudden, it's like literally less than 3 weeks later, I'm involved in an accident, a very serious car accident that should have claimed my life. Like there's no medical reason why I'm alive today based on this accident. And I had to retrain my left side of my body to move again. I was told I never walk again. I told I never run again. And I suffered permanent damage to my lower back and permanent frontal lobe damage to my brain. Like I'm one hit away that I could be, well, I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, let's not think about that.
Bad, right? So it's just like, I'm dealing with all this. So I'm going through, so, okay, so strike one, hemochromatosis, strike two,
Yeah.
you know, the car accident. And so being an athlete and playing at a very high level growing up, tell me I can't do something is the worst thing, you know. Tell somebody with Irish blood running through the system, tell them that they can't do something. Oh, that's not good. So you know what I mean? So like here I am, I'm going through rehab like crazy, doing everything I can to get myself back to where I want to be. And then I'm losing weight at a rapid pace. I'm you know, there's my son points something out to me. I go in and then boom, cancer. And so like, you know, strike three, right? It's like wham, like holy crap. And or you can use the boxing analogy. I'm laying on the ring floor. Now, there could be numerous things you can do. You can just ask for the ref to count you out. You can look to your coach. You can look to the person on the sideline, someone to throw a towel in to stop the insanity. Or you can pick your ass up off the freaking mat and get up and look life straight in the eye and say, is that the best you got? Is that all you have? And it's tough. I'm almost going to cry now. It's tough because that is what I went through. And I was at the plate and I swung 3 times. I had 3 strikes. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't go back to the dugout and what you're supposed to. I said, screw you. I'm actually going to first base and I'm going to get on and I'm going to keep moving and live through life. And this is why when you ask the question, do you get up in the morning and not have that? Like, yeah, there are moments, but I am there's a purpose in why I'm here in this world. And I'm not ready to just throw in the towel. I'm not ready to take my bat and go to the dugout. There's more to life. And hence where I give back. And I want to cause that ripple effect that is out there. I want to make sure that one person is positively changed, right? Because then they will grow. That will be the legacy. That will be what is being like. Will they remember Jay Andrews and 100 years from now? No, they won't. But there will be an effect, a seed that I planted 100 years ago that is growing and flourishing. And start off with one tree, and it'll be a goddamn forest when it's all done.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. You're making me cry over here.
Sorry about that. It's just.
It's all right, man.
It is what it is, right?
It is what it is, man. And I think you of all people have kind of, you know, dealt with your situation probably as best as I could think anybody could deal with that situation. But again, that goes back to what you said before, in that there's only one of you, and it's for a reason. You know, you were meant to, you know, be dealt that hand of cards. You were meant to see those 3 strikes, you know, in the exact form that they came into your life, because there was growth, and there still is growth that's coming from those events. And that growth comes in the form of inspiring others to live their life and to do the same thing you've pretty much done, only with different circumstances. We're all unique, guys. I say it all the time. I preface my book with it. Pain comes in all shapes and sizes. Nobody is immune to it. We all get frustrated. We all get pissed off or depressed or whatever it is. It's, you know, how do you come back from it? You know, to quote the great Rocky, you know, life's always going to hit you hard, but it ain't about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
All right, before we go, I got a little something for you. Ready?
What do you got? Oh, snap.
There you
What
are.
better
Happy New
way?
Year, everyone. 2019, you've got this. All right.
What better way to go into the new year than with those glasses? Well, you've already positively affected one person for today, Jay, because I'm smiling and laughing on this side. So
That's awesome, man. I am so stoked and I'm so ready to, see what is going to be out there. And it's going to be nothing. There will be some valleys, but those mountains are going to be massive and they're going to be fantastic. So get on your climbing ropes. Let's get out there and let's climb some mountains.
let's do it, man. Let's unleash our superpowers.
All right.
By the
Sounds
way,
good.
great analogies the whole time. You are spot on.
Oh,
Love
cheers.
it.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much. Happy New Year. Enjoy yourself. And we'll be seeing you in 24 hours.